That's right, the Delaware State University Hornets. That's who we play next. You got any statistics on them, RC?
Not really statistics, but I did kind of send you something your way of how they do kind of have that cesspool to the north. They have their head coach was associated with them for a while, and along with that, he was also on the sidelines for Louisville at some point. So technically, as a coach, he has a winning record against the Mountaineers. So definitely a little extra motivations for Delaware State when they come into Morgantown this weekend.
Yeah, he was a running back coach for both of them. 1-0 at the lowercase p, and then 1-1 at Louisville against us. They've lost, I believe, 13 straight, 33 of their last 36. And this is where we get into not just a preview, but this is why we hate Delaware State. Why are they on our schedule? Who in the world?
They're coming in and taking $500,000 from us this weekend. That's all it comes down to.
Yeah, and a state that can't afford to throw away money, it's such a waste. I cannot believe we're playing them. They have no business on our schedule. They're not even a tough team in their division. Even in the MEAC, they're not a tough team. You know, one of the things, do you know that one time Delaware State lost 105-0? And I'm not talking about in the 20s. This is in the 80s. 105-0. Do you know how hard you have to try to lose 105-0? Like, even if you're playing video games, if you're playing NCAA, you can't beat a team 105-0, not on any serious levels. That is insane. That's how bad this team is, and we're forced to play them. Now, something you may not know is they're part of the MEAC conference. That means that this is a historically black college. Now, that comes from a time when blacks were not allowed to go to other universities, so there had to be specific universities for black students. There's a lot of pride in that in this country. There's a lot of pride in that for a lot of people. And if you ask me, they are not doing right by HBCUs. They are embarrassing HBCUs. Please get it together. This is a shame. It's a travesty. You have no business being this bad. And also, somebody told me that at Dover, for the Dover Speedway, for the race, that they charge like $40 to park there. Now, if you ask me, they should be paying people to park the way they play football. It's absolute garbage. The only good news about playing Delaware State is guys who haven't played or guys who need to play will get to play. Am I right, RC?
Absolutely, and also another thing. This is another week to, get some more guys, like you're saying, get some more guys, and then also too, hopefully it's another game like East Carolina when we're up and we can, be getting to the backups even before halftime.
Yeah, I mean, we had Jeff Pastas on from ESPN 102.3 The Ticket, and he says that they're expecting maybe a quarter and a half out of Will Greer and the rest of the boys. But the good news, like I said. The bad news with that, the other problem with having a team this bad is even though we're getting guys to play, another reason we hate Delaware State is you don't allow our starters to get into a rhythm. That means when we go to Kansas, when we're out there in Lawrence, they just come from a game where they really haven't played. They're out of sync. They're not in rhythm. Hopefully we can overcome that. Hopefully it won't matter because they are the Jayhawks. We'll talk about them at a later date. But that's frustrating. We want to be able to tune up. But, man, not like this. This is just nonsense. And what is it like if you're at that game? What's it like if you're at a game like Delaware State? What did you tell me before we came on the air?
Oh, the crowd is pretty much even dead before you ever go into it. I mean, it's you put it in cruise control.
Yeah, you said you expect to be asleep by halftime. And that's the way the crowd is. Players feed off the crowd. Well, there is no crowd. First of all, there's going to be less people there in the stadium when you're playing at Delaware State, which means less money in the coffers. And we know we need every penny that we can get. We need noise. We hate to be on television because this game is on Root Sports, of course, not a big deal. But for a lot of people, they don't get Root Sports. Another reason we hate Delaware State. Their games go on channels like Root Sports. So, anyway, nonsense. We're sick of it. Schedule people we care to play, and don't get on our schedule if you're Delaware State.
Jeremy had to leave early, so he phoned in to give his take on Delaware State.
Your boy J.M. Fiend, and I'm here to tell you why I hate Delaware State. Now, I know I also hate Pitt, and RC held it down and probably said some of the same things I did. I just had to get off my chest to let you know why I hate Delaware State. This is not just a random thing. It's like when you meet somebody, and they seem nice enough, but then you start to get to know them, and you get some background story on them, and things become real clear that it's not what you thought it was. Delaware State may seem nice and like a little small coin school, but when you dig deeper, they have a lot of the same qualities as we as Mountaineers absolutely cannot stand. The first thing is, all right, so why do we as Mountaineer fans I'm not going to say hate Marshall. I don't hate Marshall. There are things that irritate me about Marshall. The thing that irritates me the most about Marshall is that they force us to play them or try to force us to play them. We played them 3 times in a row based on all kinds of things, and we shouldn't be playing Marshall. It does nothing for us. Well, Delaware State is in the exact same position. Delaware State fought and used whatever powers they could to play Delaware because they hadn't played. And what happened after all that fighting and after actually meeting on the field? They lost all 6 games. They haven't beaten Delaware yet. It hasn't even been a game yet. How can you clamor and fight for something and then get blown out in every game you play? Stop it. That's why I hate Delaware State. Stop being Marshall, okay? Okay? Stay I don't want to say stay in your lane, but stay in your position. And the thing is, we as Mountaineers, we love winners. We want winners. Delaware State is not that. I'm sure I also hate Pitt. We discussed it. Do you know in the last 29 games how many games Delaware State's won? 1. They are 1-28. Losers. Why are we playing these losers? And it's not like just these past few years. Obviously, 1-29 is a few years. But if you go back to 1980, the biggest, most lopsided victory in 1AA history, do you know who it belongs to? Delaware State. They lost in 1980. I'm going to let you guess the score. Guess what the score is? 105-0. Nil. Nothing. That's disgusting. That's ridiculous. Like I said, why are we even playing these dudes? Another reason why. Because we as Mountaineer fans hate people who add nothing to their conference. That's the reason, part of the reason why we hate Pitt so much, because they bring nothing to the table, and all they know how to do is tear down. Well, you know what? Delaware State fits that bill too. In 2004, they went 4-7. But guess which one? They had a big win. Yeah, that's right. They beat the Hampton Pirates 28-23. Guess how many losses the Pirates had on the year? At the time going into the game, 0. After, they had 1. I think they went 10-1. Their only loss coming to Delaware State. Delaware State, you can't beat anybody else, but you could beat the eventual conference champions? Stop it. Do something for the conference. Win out of conference. I'm going to wipe the sweat. Win out of conference. Don't just tear down, build up. But because you resemble so many things that we hate, we cannot stand Delaware State. And here's the thing. I'd even mention the fact that their home crowd, I don't know if it's average or maximum, but it's 7,193. What is this, high school? Are we playing a high school team now? Stop it. We hate Delaware State for all the reasons that I mentioned, and we can't wait to see you, because Saturday's going to be nasty.
But the Mountaineer pride does not end there. Today we have a fan joining us by the name of Danielle, who's here to get something off of her chest.
RVK fans and Mountaineer Nation, it's me, Danielle Sullivan, your favorite Buckeye, probably only favorite Buckeye. Let's be real. I'm here to get a couple things off of my chest. It has been a very long weekend for me anyway. As a Buckeye fan, yes, we did lose to Oklahoma, and I'm not here to talk about JT Barrett or the offensive line or the coordinator's skills or lack thereof or what Urban is really doing behind the scenes. We can save that for another conversation. I'm here to get off of my chest what the heck Baker Mayfield did in my city. Yes, you came and you ran onto the field with your flag from your school. Great, you won. You beat us at our own game in our house. That's sports. But how dare you come in the middle of our field and try, because it is artificial turf, sir, to plant that stupid flag in the middle of the field so you can feel like you got some revenge. Let me tell you something. Before you at me, I know that somebody forced him in a press conference today to apologize, but you should have never done it. So I've already had Big 12 and probably some SEC fans and just general Buckeye haters at me on Twitter. So please don't, because I always say on Twitter, don't come for me unless I send for you, and I'm very serious about that. We can talk and we can banter, but don't ever come for me. However, before you start telling me, well, guess what they did last year? Yes, Ohio State beat Oklahoma in their house last year, and everybody said they sang their fight song. Well, let me give you a little education on this, okay? There is a difference between a fight song and an alma mater. The fight song has nothing to do with when they win a game or lose a game for the Buckeyes. They sing Carmen, Ohio at the end of every game that they do, thanks to Urban Meyer. Why? Because he brought tradition back when a lot of the other coaches didn't feel it was necessary. So they didn't go to Oklahoma and sing the fight song after they won. No, they sang Carmen, Ohio, and that's a little bit different. And nobody danced on whatever type of O or U or whatever you guys do in Oklahoma. They just sang their alma mater. And guess what? When we lost this weekend, we did the same thing. So, Mr. Mayfield, I don't know why the spirit moved you to go and dance on the Block O. You probably just made a rival for life. I know I don't like you, and I know a whole bunch of other people don't like you. So, I don't know what you're going to do. I hope that you have a successful season, but I really hope that ESPN puts you on the front of a magazine at some point this season, and then it doesn't work out for you from now on, because you know what they say about that. So, if Ohio State would have done something like that, what would have happened? Let me tell you, it should not happen. It will not happen with Urban Meyer being a coach. How do I know this? I sat down with him at a charity breakfast, and he talked about the expectations that he has with all of those players. He talked about the background of Cardell Jones, and when he went to do the tweet of, we didn't come to play school, and the repercussions of his attitude on and off the field at that time. So I know Urban does not put up with that. He's a class act. The team is expected to be the same way. So I don't know what the Big 12 does, and I don't know what OU does, but Mr. Baker Mayfield, we don't do that in Columbus. Let me tell you something. You probably don't want to walk the streets of Columbus from now on, because it probably won't be a pretty sight. I'm not promising you anything, but I know there's a lot of crazy nuts called Buckeyes that probably got something for you. So, I don't know what your thoughts are, but Baker should have never done that. And to be fair to his teammates, yeah, they may have gathered around him, but nobody else did that either. You are the leader of your team, your squad, whatever you want to call you Sooners out there. You should have acted with a little bit of grace and class. Like Jay-Z says, you can pay for school, but you can't buy class. Maybe that needs to be the new alma mater for Oklahoma. To all my Mountaineer fans, you've got one job. You need to go handle the business that my Buckeyes could not do when you go to Norman. Beat the brakes off of Oklahoma, please. I will be rooting for you. Trust me, I still have a WVU hat in my closet. I might even wear it. Do us proud.
Thanks for listening and watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Check the links in the description for all our other media outlets.
And no matter what you do, no matter what you heard, no matter what we said, don't forget, we also hate Pitt.